Well, the future of Ukraine has already been decided by the United States of America, according to a bombshell new report, which we will get to that part of the story here in a minute. But first, Ukraine has a dead soldier problem. Not the kind of problem you're thinking, though. You're probably thinking, well, look at all these graves that you're seeing here on your screen, right? Ukraine has too many dead soldiers. They can't keep up with the number of dead soldiers and building of graves. That's the problem, you'd think, right? And therefore, we should negotiate a surrender so more people don't die. An unconditional surrender. Give up the territory of the people that you've been bombing in formerly eastern Ukraine, like Donetsk and other areas, for the last 10 years. Give that area up. It's gone. They don't want to be part of Ukraine anyway. They voted overwhelmingly to be part of Russia. So that's not exactly what we're talking about here, though. No, instead, Zelensky won't surrender. So Ukraine's soldier problem has now metastasized beyond just those graves that you're seeing there into a cancer of what to do with all of these dead bodies, all of these dead soldiers. Sources in the Ukrainian military leaked video saying they're just burying these poor souls in mass graves, covering them up with bulldozers in the frigid temperatures, and then telling the parents total lies, telling the spouses total lies, that they're missing. They're just missing. We don't know where they are. They might be captured by Russia. We don't know. This video leaked from Ukrainian military members who are trying to get the message out about what is actually happening. I guess, clearly they're fearing for when this ends up being them in a few weeks or in a few months. So, of course, here you can see what you see on your screen. If you're listening to the audio version of this, if you're driving or something, they're building, of course, mass graves. And it's being directed by their leaders there in Ukraine. And then there's a bulldozer just waiting. And God knows where these are, right? I mean, once these things are covered up, good luck finding them. And when they do find them a year and a half, maybe 10 years, 15 years from now, you know what the mainstream media will say about these graves? Does anyone want to wager a guess about what they'll say about these graves?
That
Russia did it.
Russia did it, right? That's what they'll say.
Or if they're following the New York Times pattern, it's just wait 6 months and then say that they did that and say, we think that this happened.
Yeah. And you can see the bulldozers here as well. I mean, this is what's happening regularly now. And it's remarkable. And here it is, directing you. Yep, now it's your turn. You get over here, shovel that earthenware, shovel all that earth over there on top. Hide nor hair of these individuals. Russia did it. No burial, and we don't know where these people are then, of course. And then neither do the parents and neither do the spouses. Hiding these dead soldiers also serves another purpose, of course. Have you guys figured out what the other purpose is? It's not just that they can't handle all of this anymore. If they're missing instead of killed in action, then the government of Ukraine doesn't have to pay them or the family a pension or death benefits. Doesn't have to pay these things out if they're missing in action. According to Ukrainian law, quote, adult children of servicemen living with their parents or other legal representatives are entitled to a pension in accordance with the law of Ukraine. It's called On Pensions for Persons Discharged from Military Service and Certain Other Persons. In the event of the death of a serviceman, person liable for military service, or a reservist. This pension is intended as compensation for the loss of the breadwinner and family support in difficult circumstances. So now it's been 6 months and your son is missing, but we know what really happened. They dumped him in a grave, said he went missing. How long will he be missing? Forever. Good luck getting a death certificate in order to receive his pension or the death benefit payout that you'd receive as a military spouse. If you're married, you get a one-time death payment, according to France 24 News. Military widows in Ukraine are entitled to a one-time financial payment from the state and may be eligible for other financial payments, such as monthly sums from local authorities, depending on the region in which they live. But again, only if he's dead. If he's missing, sorry, you're out of luck. No payment for you. Turns out, according to Ukraine's official registry, there are over 24,000 missing soldiers right now. 24,000. That number seems very high, and it also seems very fishy.
Also, that's purgatory to not know what happened to your loved one. Just imagine. That's 24,000 families who were not given the truth, who were in agony, imagining the worst.
Well, you're speaking like a true spouse and a mother, because that's exactly what these women are doing. So Ukrainian moms and spouses aren't buying it either. And they're calling for special investigations into the truth about these missing soldiers. Give me my bones. I want to do DNA analysis. I want a full investigation. I don't buy what you're telling me. I don't believe it.
Bless her, that woman.
That's just one example. I mean, there are thousands of examples. That's just one anecdote of one woman in one piece, but it's thousands. And according to the Ukraine's government own bureau on this, since September, they've had over 17,000 appeals to try to get answers about missing soldiers. 17,000. The National Information Bureau in Ukraine. 17,000 appeals, because someone's not buying these stories they're being fed. According to the Ukraine's government's own bureau, they've had these 17,000 appeals. And here's the procedure once you get actually some information and you can actually, apply for these death benefits. You need to get all of this stuff. Listen, a combatant's certificate, a certificate of a person with a disability as a result of war, if available, and a death certificate if the combatant has died.
Don't you launch an appeal because you have none of that?
I guess you don't have any of that, right? In addition, you're going to need a child's birth certificate, an IDP registration certificate, and a certificate of residence registration. In order to get that pension or that death benefit, you'll need a death certificate, form of ID, all of these things. But good news for any young men in Ukraine who don't want to die in NATO's war. You can buy your way out officially. Not, we know about like all the black market stuff, the paying, the rich parents paying to have their kids out of there. No. Now it's going to be, now it could be law. A new bill has been making its way through Ukraine's parliament, and you can see it here. I translated it in English here. Here's the bill. This is in Ukraine's parliamentary website. You can go read the bill for yourself and where this stands right now. Member of parliament put this up. The new law in Ukraine will let you pay the military to leave the country. You can't make this up. Here are the ways that men can flee Ukraine. They've now, according to this bill, 4 ways under this law. A decision of public authority in an official business trip abroad. Okay. So like you're a part of an official business trip abroad. Documents certifying the fact that you're studying or enrolled in a foreign educational institution abroad. So you're going to the UK. Okay, and you're going to study there in Cambridge or something. Another way that you can get out is written approval for traveling abroad from the Territorial Center for Recruitment and Social Support. So, I got to think there's a lot of bribery happening in that level, right? A written approval for traveling abroad from a Territorial Center for Recruitment and Social Services. Okay. But here's the real one. This one's amazing. And the fourth way that you can get out is documents confirming the existence of open account in one of the state-owned banks of Ukraine with a guaranteed deposit of at least 5 subsistence minimums for able-bodied persons, meaning that you have to make a payment into this account equal to the minimum amount of taxes on the minimum wage for the entire period of stay abroad during martial law of Ukraine. And then you have to transfer funds from such an account to a special account of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. You pay the Armed Forces of Ukraine.
And then you have to, it says here, replenish it every month while abroad.
Yeah. So you have to keep sending them money. Like you're a parent sending money to your kid at college.
That's a Ponzi scheme to not die.
Right.
I can't believe what I've seen.
If you go to, I know. And if they go to Europe, what happens then? They pay the money, they go to Europe, Europe sends them back to Ukraine. Do they have to start the process over? Or like to have a second account to leave again or what?
Yeah, exactly. You set up another bank account, and then you're literally transferring money into the Armed Forces of Ukraine.
I mean, think of the kind of person who knows that there are stories now of men who are dentists leaving for work, getting grabbed on their way to the office, you're thinking, okay, maybe they'll come for me. What are my options? And you look at this and you're like, well, I can't do any of those things.
Yeah.
And so you're
one of the poor
easy
saps.
prey. You're a lamb in the bush.
Yeah, you're one of the poor saps that can't afford this kind of cash to pay off the armed forces of Ukraine. By the way, I'm sure that money is being put to good use, by the way, to hide soldiers in graves so they can't tell their family about it. Meanwhile, we learned this week that the United States is turning Ukraine into a new colony. In fact, I just saw someone in the chat just say, this is what a vassal state looks like. Exactly, a new colony, which of course it is. This is not a shock to anyone with an IQ over 70. Even Forrest Gump knows what's happening here. U.S. is forming a colonial administration in Ukraine. Washington has told President Zelensky to put Western-educated officials in key roles. Washington has begun creating a colonial administration in Ukraine consisting of local politicians who've sworn allegiance to the United States. U.S. government has demanded that Ukrainian President Zelensky remove dozens of high-ranking officials whom Washington no longer trusts from their posts under various pretexts. Washington wants those jobs to be filled by Ukrainians trained in the West who have sworn allegiance to American interests. It's unbelievable. As part of the policy of total vassalation of Ukraine, the United States has started forming what is essentially a colonial administration in that country. The required changes in the Ukrainian government were relayed to Zelensky during a trip to Washington in December. So that's what that trip was like to Washington. No wonder Zelensky was not happy when he was in Washington, D.C. last time begging for money. He was basically being told in private meetings, here's what's going to happen. The Americans are going to basically push ambassadors, other members of your cabinet from America who've studied in the United States at Bloomington University, Harvard University, Poland's National School of Public Administration, outside NATO United States members who are now going to run your government. The Biden administration, which is in possession of what they call a killer corruption dossier on members of Zelensky's inner circle, is threatening to make the information public if the Ukrainian leader refuses to greenlight the desired personnel decisions this Russian spy chief claims. So just think about it, and we'll see all of this comes together. Like we'll see what's about to happen here. Are key members of the military pushed out, Western-backed people pushed in, and the total vacillation, and the United States companies that are going to be moving in fully to take over land, territory, resources fully, so that they own the land, they own the most fertile soil, these mineral rights, and all of that. So this was going to happen all along.
How literally are we taking the word killer here? Because we know Ukraine is corrupt. That is not brand new information.
Right.
So how killer can it be? Are we talking real killing or just more corruption that we already know about?
One wonders. Like here we've got the papers. We know exactly what you've been up to.
We know they're killing, right? They're leading people to their deaths on purpose.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Right. But is there more here in terms of...
I think the answer is unequivocally yes. There's more. There's more here.
Assassination attempts inside of Russia, that kind of
outside
thing.
of Russia,
yeah. Associates, family members, that kind of thing. Okay, that's terrifying.
So that's the U.S. plan for Ukraine. Let us know your thoughts on that in the comments below. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. You know, YouTube thinks that you'll actually like this next video right here. It's personalized based on your own viewing habits. So if you watch the video, please leave a comment. Let us know what you think about it. And we will see you next time, everyone.